Yes, happy to see you. Welcome on board on the day 26th of January.
Yeah, and there should be limit to the greeting of Happy New Year. Today you've mentioned is what? 26th.
26th of the year.
Newborn.
26th the day of the January. So it is my first time to see you this year. So it is important to say Happy New Year. Yes,
It's
welcome
our
on board. Yeah.
greetings.
Thank you. Welcome on board. What do you think, Aoko, of the things that is happening on? We have seen several things happening with this regime. What is your take? Actually, the few happenings of recently that we have seen, the judiciary securities being slashed, and CJ is saying that the security is somewhat withdrawn. What is happening? What is happening with our state? I do see the economy. They say that things will go down. We are seeing just things are just going up.
Let me just start by saying a warm good evening to fellow comrades who have joined this space. And commend Ruben Kigame for his eloquence and his clarity of thought, and his cerebral wherewithal, man, is admirable. And to think that we jinxed such kind of man for someone like the Sugoi Buta. Anyway, I'm not an intellectual, so I'll not go his route. I'm a maverick. So here's my take. Number one, on the withdrawal of the security of our Chief Justice, let me posit categorically that I have zero empathy, zero sympathy, zero concern for that woman at the helm of our judiciary. You see, the squabble between Ruto and Martha Koome Karambu is a fight amongst the dishonorable. Under Kasongo, the executive is a sham. Under Koome Karambu, or whatever they call her, the judiciary is a joke. That is why they are being referred to as jurispresa. Just recently, they used that on the impeachment of, Gashagwe, and she got her bahasha. You see, if you go back to my tweets, I stated clearly the genesis of their recent fallout. It's got nothing to do with intimidation. It has got everything to do with a phone call that NIS intercepted. I mean, I make some of these tweets and people think that I'm mad because facts are always stranger than fiction. When in a society, the so-called mad people like Aoko, like Peter Salasia, like Pastor Nganga, like Sonko begin to make sense, then something rather is fundamentally flawed with that society. You see, come to think of it, when I heard Murkomen defending why they withdrew some of Koome's security that she was wailing about, apparently, she's entitled to 6 police officers, and she was having 32. Out of those 32, only 3 were withdrawn. And then you wonder, that is why, as an ordinary Kenyan, you go to the police station to report an injustice, a grievance. You find 2 idling police officers flirting with each other, and they cannot even listen to you because the rest are in the field, on duty in the field. So this duty happens to be they are carrying handbags, and playing toy boys for some of these VIPs. And then the rest of us Kenyans, she expects that we are supposed to, scavenge some sense of sympathy for her. I mean, it does not make sense. But then, come to think of it, be as it may, the state under Ruto has gone staggeringly contemptuous. We are no longer even a pseudo-democracy, we are a mockery, a theater of the absurd, a tragicomedy. If it was not so, the animals between these two independent arms of the government should not be playing in the public gallery. Why should we know that they are squabbling in the first place? To the extent that the executive is withdrawing, security from this other arm, the judiciary. It happened with also this judge called who? The one who summoned the acting IG at that time. Hmm? And then you wonder, kwani these police officers that are being withdrawn at the whims of the executive, of the IG, or the interior CS? Kwani wanalipwa kutoka Sugoi? Are they not being paid through our taxes? Wanalipwa na Murkomen ama wanalipwa na IG? These police officers are being paid by our money. Anyway, just like I mentioned, I have zero empathy and sympathy and concern whatsoever for Karambu. Martha Koome elected to be clay, a party in the hands of Kalenjin mafia, to be used and misused. So now that she's being abused, she should not cry to us. What you thought? On an issue that is very close to my heart, abductions. And this is one discourse I'm very passionate, very unequivocal about, because I've been a victim. Let's start by asking a simple question, dear Kenyans. Who is being abducted or killed? It's the critics of the ruling class, who happen to be majorly the young people of this nation. The following question, or this question thus follows: why are they being abducted? Why are we excoriating? Why are we lambasting? Why are we vilifying the ruling class? I do not want to call them leaders, because it will be a gargantuan affront to that term, leader. These are not leaders. That is why I'm calling them the ruling class. Why are we crucifying them, this ruling class? Again, the answer is so simple. Because as the youth of this nation, we are aggrieved profoundly. We are aggrieved in ways words cannot suffice. And for some reason, those who tend to speak subtly, those who tend to speak, moderately, are not heard by the state. Ruto's regime, my dear friends, is innately fiendish. They are inherently iniquitous. They only hear. And they only hear when you draw caricatures. They only hear when you protest, when you draw cartoons, when you brew tea like Aoko does, when you come up with vampire diaries like Morara does, or when you put them in caskets and coffins. Please note that I use the word they hear. They do not listen. Because you hear to react, but you listen to respond. Response is a consequence of sitting down and analyzing the situation at hand. Watoto, hii kitu wanafanya kwa nini? And how should we respond? But reaction comes from impulse. When you are a fool, because that is what fools do. Take, for instance, the contentious Finance Bill 2024. They wanted to smuggle it because they wrongly adjudged that we are illiterate, we are apolitical, we don't know politics, we will not read it, So they believed that we will not notice this stark fiscal injustice. Ole wow. We read it. Not only did we read it, we understood it. And then we were like, nah, apana. We repudiated this document in its entirety. And then we tried to pass that message to them. Ikitu hatuitaki. We made tweets. We made videos. Size of this casket thing was absolutely nowhere in the picture. I hope you're getting my point, dear Kenyans who are listening to this space. Because I told them today, I'm going to tell them why we are putting them in caskets. We tweeted, we tagged them, we held spaces, we made videos, we spoke to them. We even lent our voices on mainstream media. Wakatuona kama pudeshi za masa zao. Guess what? Akina Osoro, that arrogant wash will tell us, we will not even change a comma. Tutaipitisha hivyo hivyo. Akina Cheriot told us he's never met anyone wiser than Ruto. and that bill will transform Kenya, help us pay debt, blah, blah, blah. According to hornbills like him, Ruto is the alpha and omega of wisdom, only rivaled by God. He monopolizes knowledge, and it will amount to an abomination. Yeah? An abomination if you dare question Ruto. This is the kind of mtu wetu syndrome that in fact tukiwa just requires a ravi. In fact, I wanted to use decorum on this platform, but I will today want to ask Cheruiyot, because Ruto monopolized wisdom. Akimwambia leo leta bibi yako pale Weston, atachukua peleke, because he's the alpha and omega of wisdom. Kimani Chungwa told us we can go screw ourselves. That bill will pass, whether we kithni, whether we ndekni, that bill will pass. It is that hubris, that haughtiness, that arrogance, that conceit that took us to the streets. Because they blatantly refused to listen to us. They blatantly refused to dialogue. We had to go rogue to catch their attention. Then, now that we went rogue, what was their reaction? Splattering our brains on the pavements. So by the time they were calling us for dialogue, the milk was far spilled, and the cat had drunk it. So to spite us, they brought in a dinosaur and his cabal of thieves to lick our blood. What these tone-deaf thieves failed to understand that hii kitu haikuanza na hii sijui finance bill. When Ruto was campaigning, and oh my God, there is one of the things that I regret to the depths of my soul, that eats and gnaws to my very essence and existence, is that I campaigned for Ruto. I was a fool. For once, let me admit, I was an idiot. But I was also ignorant. And our ignorance is to gain knowledge. You learn. And sometimes in life, you learn the hard way. And Ruto has taught us the hard way. Right now, we will interrogate issues deeper. Si ati mtu akienda kanisani aanze kulia, we're giving him sympathy votes. Tutafanya, tutatenga. Ruto promised us sucrose and delivered sand. Oh, the first 90 days, sijui 100 days, I will do this. Paukwa, pakawa, ya Ruto, ni uongo. Na yawezi je, ni ya serikali ya UDA. For 2.5 years, Ruto's regime has denied us justice. They have denied us equality or equity from whatever angle, semantics, potato, and the rule of law. Nothing, absolutely nothing is working. Everything that was working has been dismantled. And now what we have are new, cash cow schemes. That is what I would call them. Cash cow schemes, which are being forced down our throats. In Luo, I don't know, everyone, we appreciate our different cultures. But in Luo, when a kid refused to take his meals, we used to call it cargo. You force that uji down that kid's throat. That is what Ruto is doing to us with his, fake administration. And NHIF was working. It wasn't perfect, but it served its purpose. Education was affordable to our parents because it was capitated. Mwe mzazi unalipa hii mpaka hapa. Hiyo ingine serikali italipa. Unachukua uniform, vitabu, nini na fee maybe hii. Hiyo ingine serikali na top up. Right now parents are catering for every freaking cent. Mara sijui anataka kuuza airport. Mara the energy sector. And anataka kuziuza to the most corrupt cow worshipper in the entire Asia. If you go to higher learning, there is this fuckery that they are calling new funding model. Yani, these people are bringing policies that tax the hell out of us just so their kids can buy 50 million Ganyas. You see, when a people are continuously denied justice, they get aggrieved. I mean, that's the logical thing that will happen. And what follows is display rather of agitation. If you are aggrieved, you are going to display that you are aggrieved. Right now, what they are doing painfully is that they are trying to circumvent facts. They are trying to circumvent their failure through violence and through using affordable bloggers, who are just nothing but a bunch of clickbait nitwits, to chorus their lies and sanctify their incompetence. Wacha niwaambie, you see, even in your house, ukiona bibi ameanza kufura, ameanza kupika skuma badala ya mchuzi, ameanza kulala na t-shirt ya Jubilee tena, na hizi stocking wanafunga kwa kichwa ya Goatwives yenye inanuka jasho, ukimpiga because she's doing that, utavunja hiyo ndoa. You'll make it irreparable. Kalisha yeye chini, aska mama watoto, sweetie, shida ni nini? Tuzungumze, tuongee, tutatue. Utapata shida ni kitu kidogo that you can solve. Kitu kidogo that you can sort out. Maybe aliangalia message yako kama umeenda bafu akaona umetumia some Irene M-Pesa. Turns out maybe your Irene is your niece. So it's just a misunderstanding. Sasa Ruto, yeye reaction yake is that husband wenye bibi akifura anampiga, anavunja ndoa. Badala aone shida iko wapi. Why are we putting him in caskets? Why are we aggrieved? Why are we angry? Why are we wishing him death? Anatupiga, anatu threaten, anatuua. I mean, now wameleta hii El Chapo, anatuambia juzi ati anaweza funga social media. They've been claiming social media is being misused and abused. I mean, come on, social media is an integral part of modern African democracy. This is not the days of beating drums and sending smoke signals, Bwan. The world has evolved. In fact, those of us who studied journalism as first certificates, we are worried. We've had to go for other courses like conflict and political science because AI is making us extinct as writers. The only difference between us, human writers, and AI rather, is that we bring some passion, some emotion. Unaona hii kuchemka na chemka, hii huwezi pata AI. And that is how I also write. Probably that is the only difference. Now, through social media, we are getting socially, economically, and politically enlightened. Now, the biggest enemy of a typical and egg-type African politician is an enlightened and learned population. Because we are not subservient to them. Na hiyo ndio inasumbua Ruto na watu wake. We are not subservient. We question things. And allow me use this wife analogy again. Ukipata bibi yako na degree yake alafu umweke kwa nyumba ulale nje siku mbili. Alafu ukuje you expect ati amekuchemshia maji moto, amekuwekea hapo food. Atakwambia, excuse me, sit down. Where were you? Where were you for 2 days? Why were you not picking your calls? Because ameenda shule and she knows her rights. Si mwenye utaokota class 3 huko village mwenye utalala nje siku 3 alafu ukirudi ati Duogo umerudi excuse us. Basi hiyo ndio shida yetu na hii administration. They think we owe them some genuflection. We need to kowtow to their whims and I mean, it doesn't happen like that. Now we are being christened that we are unpatriotic. Kenyans on social media, especially TikTok and X, we are a menace, we are mannerless. Ruto spoke publicly in Homa Bay and said he'll stop abductions, provided that our parents teach us manners. Which manners? What are the perimeters of gazing manners? Omera, listen. The likes of Wangari Maathai stripped naked to protest injustice. The Moi regime saw it as mannerlessness. But eventually, she helped protect our environment and our democracy. Besides, we learned our mannerlessness from them. Oh yes, we learned from the best. If that Dadab thing, when Yalioa, a 13-year-old girl and got elected with mere 3K votes, stands in front of Kenyans and mentions baba zetu, ati kwani hiyo kiti ni ya mama yenu, hiyo kiti ni ya baba zenu, kuma nina zenu. Excuse me, how are you supposed to respect those kind of people? Now, he was saying this right in front of Ruto, who did nothing. In fact, if anything, I caught a grin on his lips. He was smiling. He was enjoying it. Viongozi wetu hawana heshima. Viongozi wetu hawana nidhamu. Viongozi wetu hawana utu. Sudi akipanua mdomo, utadhani ni zile takataka za City Market akaja ameshindwa kubeba. Na hizo meno kama algebra, x minus y is equal to z. Kazi ni kututisha. Nikipewa hiyo docket siku 3. Busy making very inflammatory videos and remarks. Someone who cannot even write his own name, could not even read his oath of office bwana. Hajawahi fungua mdomo bunge. Recently alikuwa rewarded na sijui honorary PhD, ndio tumuite Dr. Sudi. Look at such things. As a graduate mwenye amekaa 4 years in university, ama as a mtu anawania PhD. Do you know PhD venye ni ngumu kupata hii Kenya? Unabembeleza lecturer hivi ni kama unatongozana na yeye. And then Kimani Chunga has a sewage lodged inside his mandibles. Kuongea tu mefi. If you're a graduate of international relations or diplomacy, maybe now uko na certificate or diploma, or it was when you want tunaita huko ati double whatever, uko na umechukua diplomacy and communication, or IR and international relations and communication. Then unaona Shalin Ruto is the one representing youth in UNGA, UN. Huko New York, talking about swimming lions and digital farming. Na yeye kitu alisomea ni Mascom. Utasikia aje? Anakurepresent as who, if it's not by the fact that yeye ni daughter wa president? What experience does she have in diplomacy or IR to represent you? What does she understand about what the Kenyan youth is experiencing? By the time alikuwa anazaliwa, Ruto was already getting money. Uko na masters, unaendesha nayo ndudhi. While George Ruto ako na fleet of nganya at only 24. Alitoa wapi pesa? Nani alimpea loan? Sisi mbona hatupati hizo loan? Ukiteta unashikwa. Why can't they also help us young people? Hata see we want to own matatus. Tell us, form a SACCO as this group, and then you give us a loan. Hata tutaki tupatie vitu za bure. Who told you Kenyans want freebies? Give us a loan. Cause hii Hustler Fund, kitu unapewa ni 500. 500 hata iwezi nunua condom. Cause hata free condoms they are not giving these days. I'm telling you.
Wacheni tu mimi niseme na mapema. Ndio kama kuna list na andiko mniweke kwa list. I can't wait to reject Finance Bill 2025. I can't wait. Because I know it will be something absurd. It will be something mental. I can't wait. Mniweke kwa list jameni. List reject.
Majenzi mko? Kazi mnafanya kwa mtandao ni mzuri sana. Na tunapongeza nyinyi. Na muendelee. Mtaendelea. Lakini mtandao peke yake haitoshi. Tunataka mjiandikishe kama wapiga kura. wale watu ambaye watakomboa Kenya hii, wenye kuamua Kenya itaongozwa namna gani, ni hao majenzi wetu mwaka wa 2027. Lakini hamwezi amua Kenya itakaa namna gani kwa simu peke yake. Lazima mchukue vitambulisho, lazima mjiandikishe kama wapiga kura. Siku hiyo ikifika, muamuke saa 9, muungane na sisi na wengine, tuende pale kwa debe, tutafute uongozi wa maana ambaye utaheshimu wa Kenya, utaheshimu demokrasia na utakubali kufanyia kila mtu maendeleo. Tumekubaliana majenzi?
Now, why do you want Ruto gone?
We want Ruto gone because he is killing innocent people. He's wanting to pass the Finance Bill 2024. He's putting tax on sanitary products that girls can't even buy. He's can't go to school. He's corrupt. He's taking the money. He needs to go.
Yes.
Out. If you're going to raise anything, start with your hairline.
Nice.
Control, Alt, delete, Ruto. The drunk did better than you. Drunkard did better than you.
Nice.
Mungu nguvu yetu, itoe Ruto Kenya, hata kama angalau na jali. Sisi Kenya tumechoka na Ruto, maisha imetuharibikia, nalipisha mpaka sodo ya wamama. Pure kabisa Ruto. We don't like you, go home. Sasa tafuta kiongozi ambaye anapenda mwananchi na anapenda kijana kama.
They want to be described as honorable even when they are horrible. They acquire things which they have not worked for. They promise us things that they know they will never deliver. And there is no shortage of such men and women in the African continent.
Now the next election,
Yes.
unajua hawa ndio watakuwa nasema fagia wote ama mtasema namna gani? This generation,
Yes.
they use their might because they didn't vote. The largest vote in the last election.
They don't like me, why them a fight me, They like me, chewing a bone, bite it. They like me, chewing a bite it. Don't like, power and shit. When you trust them, even if we put them. When you touch them, stay fine, not touch them. When you trust them, go tell my dad, them. In farm, I say, you must